Hello again, herb lovers, and welcome back to the kitchen instead of the garden because the weather is still pretty nasty at this time in spring. Today I want to talk to you about what to do with your little plants when you've planted your seeds, and you can have a look at how to plant your seeds here. Once you have planted those seeds, then you're going to want to do something called pricking out, and my darling cameraman has just quietly reminded me that some people might not know what pricking out is. And pricking out is when you have a little tub of seedlings, like these little tomato babies that we have here. These are a new variety of tomato that I haven't grown before, called Brandywine Pink, and I'm really excited about them. You can see that we have a few in this little cell, and I talked in my last video about how I like to grow many varieties in little cells like this, but I have many uses for these little cells. But when we have little cells, then we have to break these baby seedlings apart and put them in a bigger pot so that they've got a place to grow. So this is actually a cardboard pot, which is very easy for me to pull apart. So what we do is a term that's called pricking out, and it's basically just separating the seedlings. And you can do it by popping a toothpick or a fork or something in here to gently ease the plants apart so we don't hurt their roots too much. And we can, as you can see, pull them apart, and we end up with a little plant with its full set of roots at the bottom. And if I'm going to be pricking out into one of these little 6 cells here, which I will be when these little seedlings are so tiny, I just make a little hole in here, and I don't have to be gentle, I can be reasonably rough, and I can stuff the little root system in here and then close the soil up around our little seedling, and it will be shocked for a little while, but it will continue to grow. Now, one of the things I want to point out to you is that all plants, when they first grow, put up a set of leaves that are not true leaves. They are what's called cotyledons, which are basically the outside of the cell, the outside of the seed. And here, okay, and we like to hold our seedlings by those leaves so that we don't hurt them too much. But you can see in between those two little leaves the start of the true leaves for this plant. And I'll just pop that in here, and we can show you that again with one of these seeds down here. There we go, it's in there. So these are coriander seeds, and you can see that their little cotyledon leaves are on the outside there, and their true leaves are just starting to come up from the inside. The other thing I want to talk to you about with these is that you can see that these seeds are really elongated, that they've got really long stems, and these other ones here don't. And that's basically because the seeds, when they were coming up, didn't get enough light. So we call this getting leggy in the seedling world. And it just basically means that the seed is reaching, the plant is reaching for the light. So a lot of people get around this by putting grow lights over their seedlings if they're growing them inside. The way I got around it was by basically just moving these outside really quickly so they got some bright light as more and more of them started to emerge. But this is a situation that you can remedy. So what you can do when you're taking these seedlings out, if you get these really leggy ones, and I don't want to do too much digging in here because there's more seeds that are coming, but you can take the little leggy ones out without trying really hard not to hurt their stems. And if you've got a deep enough pot, you can drop them in all the way down. It's not going deep enough. you can drop them in all the way down so that there is hardly any of their stem showing, and they will grow quite happily. So you cover up a lot of their stem and they will come away again quite happily if you bury a lot of the stem in the soil. So all is not lost if you've got some leggy seedlings. Some people will tell you to throw them away. I just basically bury them as deep as I can and all is well. Now, the other thing that I wanted to show you is, and I've used my pot now, but that's okay. One of the ways that I like to grow tomatoes is to put them in one of these big pots, and these are not going to come out now, come on. Is to pop them in the corner, because tomatoes are amazing. They will grow roots anywhere up their stem, so you can pop this little tomato all the way in here, all the way down. Bury it right up to its leaf there. And you can see that I've done that with those ones over there. So we bury them in a rough way as far as we can. Doesn't matter that there's coriander in here because I'm going to plant these all out together. And the reason that I like doing it this way with tomatoes is because then when I put them in the ground, I will take them out of this pot. As you can see, they're ready to be potted on because their little roots are coming out the bottom now. So I will pop them out of this container, I'll bury them in the ground, and then I'll lie them down, and I will put soil all the way up to here. And so they'll be quite fanned out in the garden, so they'll have good spacing, and then they will just start to grow sort of from, if you can imagine this is the garden and they're all panned out, they're going to start growing from here, and they'll straighten up, and they will have all of this area up their roots here, all this area up their stem to grow roots in the garden, and that will make for really good strong plants that are going to produce really well. So there you go. That's how easy it is to be pricking out your seedlings into your little containers, and you may find when you've got seedlings still this size that you're going to want to, especially at night, keep them in your little mini greenhouse, because that's going to keep all the slugs and snails away from them. Or even if you have them outside in this container, you can bring them in at night, especially if the night temperatures are getting cold still, and you will end up with really strong plants that are very happy and will grow really well for you. There you have it. It's that simple to be pricking out your plants. Let us know how you're getting on, and if you're still deciding on what you're going to grow in your garden, take a look at our videos about the kinds of gardens that you can grow. Love and lettuce, and we'll look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye for now.